Let's just give it up for the criminal justice system, everyone. Shall we do that? Because the judge basically said, prison's too hot to handle for you. So I'ma just give you a slap on the wrist. As you can see on the screen there, influencer avoids jail after being caught with 150k worth of drugs on flight from Thailand to Manchester. Olga Bednarska had lived beyond her means and fallen into debt. Now, I know some people reading this right now, me included somewhat, are absolutely having their blood boiled right now. And I take back the somewhat because I'm pissed, let's be honest here. I think a lot of us are going through our own financial struggles and we don't resort to this, right? So you can already see from the headlines, it's a bit slapping of the wrist, as I mentioned. An influencer and reality show star caught with 150k worth of cannabis from Thailand to Manchester. Olga, 27, said she was asked by a friend called Tex to bring designer clothes and watches back from the country. However, in October this year, she was stopped by customs officials at Manchester Airport who became suspicious of her travel arrangements. She claimed she had packed the suitcases herself, but further scrutiny revealed almost 40 kilos of cannabis were concealed within her clothes. Someone ask me or answer me, why would she say she packed it herself? Huh? She obviously, allegedly, knows what she's doing because you don't say, I've packed it myself, unless you're trying to hide something or you genuinely packed it yourself. So, and also, Tex, is that name finished? Because where's the AS? Oh, because Houston, we have a very big problem.
This is great banter.
Just as this webpage does, with a blank space. But Bednarska, who had previously appeared on Netflix's Too Hot to Handle, pleaded guilty to being concerned in the fraudulent evasion of a prohibition on the importation of the Class B drug. She was handed a suspended sentence. Samuel Eskdale, prosecuting, said that Olga arrived at Manchester Airport from the city in Thailand or town, because I know if I say that, YouTube for some reason not gonna like it, with 2 large suitcases. She was questioned by Border Force officials. She confirmed she had packed the suitcases herself and she's not been carrying or asked to carry anything for another person. She was then asked who paid for her flights, and she said her friend named Tex. She said they wanted to bring her back, or they wanted her to bring back designer clothes and watches. The officers asked her to unlock the suitcases, but she could not provide the code to do so. She then confirmed she had been given the suitcases at the airport. Someone explained to me, what kind of life are you living where you're packing your own suitcase, allegedly, and you're saying to I'm not even going to, I don't know the code. I'm going to just wing it. And when I get to wherever I'm going, we'll sort it out then. I'm going to take a chainsaw to the suitcase to get in. Also, at the airport she was given this. Doesn't that remind you of the recent romance scam that we looked at? I'll plug it up there as a card. It was a woman who went actually from America, I think it was, or Canada, to Hong Kong, obviously doing up the smuggling that way. Obviously, she was unaware, allegedly. She said similar things as here. It's just interesting that you're just randomly given a suitcase at the airport and you're thinking to yourself, yes, that's correct. So has she been romance scammed, do you think? Or is there something darker at play here? The contents of the suitcase were later searched. Underneath the items were vacuum-sealed packages of cannabis, 39.4 kilos, 157 and 600 pounds worth. The court heard she had no previous convictions. She's been in custody since her arrest in October. Judge John Potter indicated to the court that he would pass a suspended sentence of imprisonment, and so no mitigation was advanced on her behalf. Here she is looking elegant, fancy, and I always say this, and I'm guilty of it myself, do not compare yourself to someone else online, right? Social media is a cesspool of, look at me, I'm doing this, Look at me, I'm living fancy. You're only shown the highlights of someone's life. So, as much as I'm guilty of it as well, please, everyone, do not fall victim and take solace in the fact that this person could be a damn criminal. I think I said criminal.
Are you high or just incredibly stupid?
I'm not going to send you to prison. That will mean you will be released from custody, the judge told her. Over the course of the last few years, you have found yourself in financial difficulties. You have incurred debts to do with work, rent, and other household costs. You have simply lived beyond your means. That part pisses me off, right? Because who told her to live beyond her means? It's quite literally a thing with anyone. And as I mentioned, social media, you'll get people posting all sorts of pictures and videos. And behind the scenes, that is not how you truly live your life. But for the sake of social media, there you go. I'm going to showcase I'm living some extravagant life. It's okay to just be yourself, yeah? If you are spending your days sat in a chair playing PlayStation all day and recording a video once in a while, yes, that's entirely okay, everyone. So don't piss me off, yeah? Whose fault is it that she lived beyond her means? He said that Olga owed up to 16k in debts and so resorted to desperate but highly unlawful means to pay it off. As a result, she had lost her impeccable good character, the judge added. I forgot the judge and her were friends, apparently. How have we come to the conclusion that she's got an impeccable good character? What, because she had no previous convictions? Neither do I, bro. And if you ask some people, they'll tell you I'm not a good person. So, what a joke, isn't it? Via a friend of a friend, you agreed to import designer goods from Thailand. You agreed to go and do this and return 10 days later. Your expenses were to be paid by others, and you were to be paid £18,000. Someone explain to me then. From a friend of a friend, hey, take this suitcase with what I'm telling you is clothes and watches, and I'm going to give you 18k for it. What? Where can I apply for this job? Huh? Because if that's a real thing, I'm all on board, bro. If it's genuinely you're not thinking to yourself, this is fishy, no? He said she flew to Thailand on October 10th, was met by an associate before checking into a hotel free of charge. She was then given spending money before giving the being given the suitcases for the items to go into. I'm assuming, well, this is the airport. She was asked for items to cover up the goods, at which point she should have had nothing further to do with, the judge said. What? She was asked for items to cover up the... I don't know what that is telling me, to be honest. You decided to place your trust in someone you hardly knew. You were acting under the direction of others, potentially for further profit. Sure. Again, a blank space. You'd assume this is Olga's brain. I am sure you can imagine the harm that wholesale value drugs have on our communities when they are sold for profit. You have directly contributed to this by agreeing to do what you did. Bednarska of Newcastle was handed 20 months imprisonment, which was suspended for 2 years. She must also complete 15 days of rehabilitation activity requirements. She had previously appeared on season 3. Yeah, we get this. She originally... Okay, that's the end of it. So, basically, 2 years... What is that? 12 months imprisonment, suspended for 2 years. If I'm correct, does that mean she'll be in jail for 8 months? If I'm correct in thinking that, good. But it's just interesting that she's sort of been handed, just, again, as I mentioned, a slap on the wrist. Now, I've done for my what the hell am I saying?
Help me! Help me!
For my dissertation back at uni, I did an essay, I guess you would call it, on how women for the most part are not properly rehabilitated in prisons. And I was looking at UK prisons in particular, stats and whatnot. So look, let's get this straight. I don't think that weed is too large of a oh my god, you need to be locked up forever, throw away the key. It's not one of those things that I think people should be jailed for on lesser scales. Let's be honest here, right? If you're doing up kingpins, that's you're gonna go prison, mate. But I just don't think she's been handed enough here. Right, I found some articles that I just wanted to compare Olga's story to theirs as just sort of a, hey, you make your own mind up if she's been let off lightly, so to speak. Now, this story here is about a UK woman again. She was found in 60 grams of cannabis. Not her. She wasn't found in it. She was found in possession of it. 2K, some burner phones relating to dealing. And her sentence is 6 months with suspended, for 18, which it's similar. Like, if I don't have the memory of a goldfish and I've just forgotten what I've recorded just a few minutes ago, that's similar to Olga's. And we are in a considerable weight class difference here. What's her name? If Shana's 60 grams was in a boxing match with Olga's 40 kgs, who's winning, bro? It's like Rey Mysterio coming up against Braun Strowman. Do you know what I mean? For my wrestling heads. And also, the fact I said that I assumed Olga's going to be in prison for 8 months when the article literally says she's avoided prison. So forget I said that, by the way. I know the comments, it's in there right now telling me I'm a moron or whatever, but that's life. It's staying in the edit. I'll slap myself for it. But yeah, it's good to see this woman here had 12-month mental health treatment requirement. So, hey, what are the comments? I'm interested if it comes up. Who in their right mind banks 23k proceeds of crime like that when banks are required to monitor accounts? That's why she's been given the mental health treatment program, but you can't do much with cash these days, which is what the government wants in order to curtail the black economy. I've got no idea what black economy means. So if you do know in the comments, let me know, please. But look, this woman, I just found it interesting that her sentence is similar to Olga's. I know there's obviously intent to supply here and obviously messages, quote unquote, confirming dealing. But it's just interesting. This story in particular is one I'm very interested in comparing Olga's with. Because this woman is from Canada, smuggling 62 kilograms of concealed cannabis to the UK. The penalties for such importation in the UK is up to 14 years of prison. She's going to have a court date soon, actually, in a few days. So we see what happens with this case. 248,000 Canadian dollars, which I've searched, is around 140k British pounds. We don't look at that story just yet. But this one, I think, is very similar. No? Obviously, coming, it's very different, Thailand to Canada. But it's similar. And I just want to point out that Olga avoided jail, right? Who's getting 14 years prison for importing of the weed variety when people who are smuggling in 150k slap on the... Enjoy your life, Olga. You've had some hard times. Just enjoy it. Who? How much needs to be smuggled to get 14 years? I'm very interested to see this case, what turns out or what comes of this, because if this woman gets jailed, right? And I'm trying to see if it says here And okay, she actually got found before entering the UK. So it's interesting how Olga got past the Thailand officials, I guess. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I'd love to see this. Obviously, Canadian criminal justice system is a lot different to the UK's. But if they jail this woman in Canada, surely that sort of is a middle finger to the UK's justice system to say, you can do what you want as long as you got a little bit of clout and status, huh? Allegedly, though. This woman, 60 years old, drugs mule. She'd been jailed for 3 years and 4 months, right? Would you like to subscribe? No, I wouldn't. Obviously, this is Ireland again. This is a considerable more amount of money. In Great British pounds, that comes out to around 400,000. The judge said the amount of damage drugs do, there has to be a significant period of jail. Well, sometimes, depending on who you are. It's interesting here, right? One, this woman also had no previous convictions and lives in rented accommodation. I don't know who this woman is, but could you argue she is also down on her luck, so to speak, such as Olga? Then, he said her husband lives in India, but she has not seen him in person in 5 years, but sees him every day online. What? Has she been romance scammed of some kind? Because none of this makes sense, right? Also, you scroll down a bit more. He said that no one is suggesting anything other than a profit motive in the case for Miss Martins transporting the drugs. But this story is just weird, right? Because why does her husband live in India and she's not seen him in 5 years, but sees him every day online? I don't know why that was specified. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I've got romance scam on the brain or something. But I don't know. Why is he in India? It's just weird. Anyway, 30 packs of cannabis, 22 packs of the herbs, the 30 packs of resin. I don't know. Is obviously the street value is a lot more, and I guess we're going off of street value instead of weight. But why was she jailed for 3 years? And actually, I think it might be a romance scam, because how often are you seeing a 60-year-old woman do up drugs mule with their husband also living in a different country for 5 years? If he's on a business trip, he's gone on a very long business trip. I think she's been romance scammed. But let me know in the comments. It's just interesting to me that this woman got jailed for 3 years. And Olga, again, slap on the wrist. Again, this Ireland's criminal justice system is going to be different to England's. But it's just... I picked out this one, lastly. It's a young man, obviously, doing up Just Eat, delivering weed packets and stuff. But he was jailed for 4 weeks, which I know, again, intent to supply. But he, and obviously in the grand scheme of things, 4 weeks of jail, you know, it's not like you're gonna have your life ruined, or potentially, who knows. But if he's being jailed for any length of time, and Olga, you know, we're sort of siding with her, giving her the benefit of the doubt, what about this guy? He's 19 years old, and he's gone to the length of purchasing a delivery food bag, putting things in packets. Obviously, he's made somewhat of a business out of this. Is he not needing money? Is he not down on his luck, perhaps? It's just interesting to me. So let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts about all of this? In my opinion, definitely I think she got let off too lightly. Once again, I'm not of the opinion that weed is, oh, you need to be thrown in jail, you need the devil's pitchfork shoved up your ass type thing. But I'd like some consistency. Do you know what I mean? That's the issue here. We're not consistent, right? If I, for example, was to do up smuggling of 150k, do you think I'm getting let off? I don't think so. Do you think the regular, degular, schmegular civilian's gonna get let off with that much? We saw the first article. She had 60 grams. She was dealing. She got a suspended sentence as well. But if that woman was doing up 40 kgs, is she going to jail? I think so. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If there was something to enjoy in this, I guess. The devil's lettuce. Just be careful in the comments. Don't incriminate yourself. I'll see you guys next time. If you want to watch something similar, again, I'll put up the Hong Kong story there. But I'll also put a scam-related influencer here. I'll see you next time. Bye. Don't smuggle, everyone. Please. Just don't smuggle.